This is Christos, and Natalie's going to give us a demonstration of now finding her yes and no through this advanced kinesiology for doing or talking to your guidance within. And so she's going to give us an example of two different ways we suggest you start with. And one of them is a stand-up pendulum. And Natalie, can you show us how to find that? Explain.
Yeah. Basically, you just want to stand with your feet together and relax. And you're going to say a true or false statement. And you can say, I would say, my name is Natalie. And I would move backwards. Your body's going to sway a certain way. There's not a right or wrong way to do it. And you may be patient because I've done this a lot. So I get a bigger yes or no. But be patient with yourself and you'll get there. And then also, you say your false statement. So I would say, my name is Claire, and I get a no, and that's my false. And again, people are going to move left, right, diagonal. Your yes is your yes, and your no is your no. There's not a right or wrong way to do it.
Okay, well, then when you first started doing this, did you get as profound answers as you're getting now?
No.
Okay, so in other words, your movement to begin with was very subtle and is more of a feeling than almost a movement.
Yeah, sometimes I would have to really get centered, and a lot of people are going to double guess yourself, but that's okay. Just keep moving through that. Try not to. If you get your yes and you feel it's your yes, or you want a stronger yes, you can always ask for that too. And just basically just listen to your guidance if that's a possibility.
Okay. Yep, yeah. That is. I mean, just trust it.
Yeah, just
what
trust
you're saying is trust your guidance.
Yes.
Okay, yes. So the other one is arm contraction. In other words, where you use your arms and it actually changes lengths.
Right. Like my yes for that is my right arm stays normal and my left arm contracts back.
So can you actually push your left arm out further? I mean,
yeah. But it's a stress. You can.
So you can definitely feel the difference.
Yes.
Okay.
No questions. Yeah.
Okay. And then
I like the standing pendulum though, because I could do that in the stores or something, and no one really notices.
So do you use this when you go shopping and stuff?
Yes, I use it at the grocery store or when I'm buying presents for people. That was a big one. One of my good friends bought her boyfriend a shirt, and she got a no when she bought it, but she liked it, so she bought it anyway. And then when she got home and gave it to him, he didn't like it, so she had to return it. But yeah, so I use it all the time.
So it helps you choose which shoes will look best on you and stuff like that?
Online shopping is also wonderful, yes.
Okay. So once you got your yes and no, okay, whichever way you choose, whatever feels more comfortable to you, then you actually pick the chart up and you use the chart to determine what unresolved issue or negative thoughts that you have.
A lot of the times I feel like people know, if my kind of give is my stomach will get into knots or something, or I won't feel comfortable, and that will tune me into, okay, what do I have going on?
Right, but you've also had headaches too before,
yes,
right?
Yes, I've had headaches, I've had toothaches, I've had...
And can you give us an example, like for a headache? In other words, what did you do to get rid of your headache? Just pick up, in other words, you asked, just kind of show us what you did.
Well, if you have something specific going on, you can always ask to hone in on that. So say if I had a headache, which I don't now, but if I did, I would ask, can we find out why I have the headache? Is there a negative emotion going on? Do I have something unresolved that is causing my headache? And I would get a yes, because 9 times out of 10 it is negative emotional stress. And so once you do that, then you can go through the chart and find out what it is. So you can let it go.
Can you give us an example of how you go through the chart, then?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, you can follow along. You can download this chart on the website. This is the emotion chart 1.
And that website's perfectionhealing.com.
Yes, perfectionhealing.com.
Right. Okay.
So if I were going to do this, we're going to use it for instance. That's fine. So I would start in row 1. You're going to go through the rows first, and then you're going to go to the columns. All it is process of elimination, and you're getting your yes and no's as you go. So I would say row 1, and I would get a yes for row 1. So I don't need to go to row 2 or row 3 right now. because I got a yes for row 1. So then I would go to the columns.
And how many columns are there?
There's 8 columns.
Okay.
So I'm going to kind of run through it quickly. So I always ask if it's in column 1 through 4. Because if it's not, then I can skip to the next one. So is it in column 1 through 4? And I get a no. So then I would ask if it's in column 5, and I get a yes. So now we're at row 1, column 5, and then we're going to go to the emotions. There's 7 in that. So I would say, is it emotion 1 through 5? And I get a no. Is it 6? No. 7? Yes. And this is just a for instance, correct? Yeah, okay. So I don't really have it. But so that one came up frightened, which I've had that one before. So say that you have a headache and it came up as frightened and you want to know what that's in regards to. So you would narrow it down. Is it going on currently? I get a yes. If it's not going on currently, then you can find out what age it is. I'm 27. So let's say it's not going on currently. It happened when I was younger. And you know, you can narrow it down from there. So you'd say, did it happen from age 27 to 20? And I get a no. Did it happen from age 19 to 15? And I get a yes. So 19, no. 18, no. 17, yes. So you would narrow it down that way. And once you hit 17, you can find out. You can even narrow it down to what season it was if you can't remember. Or who it dealt with at that time.
Okay, so in other words, when you say the season, you say, was it winter or fall?
Right.
And
right.
you get a yes
I mean,
or no.
at age 17, I would be in high school, so I'd say, was it during school or summer? You know,
right.
Or was it when I had this car or that car?
Right.
Just whatever can help you remember.
And the emotional issue always deals with an individual, so to narrow that down, you say, how do you do that?
Yeah, sometimes it deals with an individual or also a situation, so it might deal with a group of individuals. I've had some people where it dealt with, you know, in high school, the cool kids or the crush or whatever, it doesn't matter, or, you know, the boyfriend that broke up with you. I mean, it can be a number of things. Parents, fathers, brothers, sisters, siblings, friends.
Right.
I mean, you just want to narrow it down.
But you just say, is it with family, yes or no?
Right.
And a lot of times, if it's with family, then my understanding is that you start with, is it with mom? Yes or no? Dad,
right.
Yes
you could, yeah, you can narrow it down to
a lot of them deal with parents.
You can even say it's the immediate family, and also this is all about your own perspective on life. So if you have someone in your life that you would regard as family, then that could also pop in as a family member. I grew up with one girl since I was in 3rd grade, and I would regard her as a family member. So it just depends on how you look at life.
Now, when you can also confirm, in other words, if you remember the family member, you can ask the question, is it the family member I'm thinking of?
Right. You
don't have to say their name. Is that correct?
Yes, that's important if you feel uncomfortable naming names when you're in front of somebody doing a session or something. The context is not what this is about. This is about you owning it.
Owning what? The frightened emotion?
Yes. It's kind of like all of our past memories. When you have a negative emotion, it's kind of like if you had a past memory where someone broke up with you, and every time you think of that, it either upsets you or angers you or whatever. It's called an emotional charge.
Right.
And so basically, you're owning that emotional charge so you can let it go, so it's no longer in your past memory. So then you can think back to that memory, and there's no emotional connection there. It's just, it happened, and it's okay.
These are past emotional charges, particularly in relationships, are what brings up walls with new relationships and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Or defenses.
One of my biggest ones that I let go of is when I was 4, my parents divorced, and I didn't realize how much of an impact that had on my life until I was 16, 17 years old. And so when I started doing this work, I guess 4 or 5 years ago, I think, all of that came up, and I was able to think back to all the times that it affected me, and now I can think back to it, and I'm clear. It happened. It's okay. Everyone else is okay.
Right.
And God's taking care of everything.
Okay. But as mentioned in the workbook and stuff, this is about the Holy Spirit really wanting to get rid of this stuff for you, but you have to make that choice.
Correct? Yeah. The big part, the main 2 things I think in this work is your personal willingness and getting clarity. That's all this is. This is just kind of like a fast track to that. As long as you're willing to really dig and see what's there so you can let it go, and you have to find the clarity so you can own it to let it go, you're you'll be able to do that.
Okay, and dealing with the whole physical thing, in other words, the whole concept physical is that if you get rid of this energetic charge, so your body can operate normally, and its normal function is to be in perfect health, correct?
Right.
Okay, can you ask about your immune system, whether or not your immune system's
Oh,
stressed,
yeah.
you're more subject to colds, or you could ask what percentage your immune system's operating at, so to speak?
Yeah, you can do it for sicknesses like that. You can do it for physical pains. I worked with one woman who was in her 40s and she had severe elbow pain where she couldn't lift anything more than 10 pounds with that arm. And we did one session. I forget what she let go, but we did one session, and after she let that go, her elbow was completely fine. And I mean, the doctors wanted to do surgery on it. So,
And same thing with another friend, I believe, with carpal tunnel. She had the carpal tunnel stuff.
that was crazy. You could literally see her wrist was swelling. You could see a bump coming up, and it was nuts because as soon as we were done with the session, I mean, it was a big one. She let a lot go. The bump was completely gone. And that was this work is amazing. I love it. So yeah.
Okay, is there anything else you'd like to add? Oh, I have one other question.
Yeah.
This in terms of connecting with your guidance, because your guidance is giving you yes and no. So it's kind of like baby steps.
Right.
What's happened? You've been doing this for several years and you've done it thousands of times.
Mm-hmm.
What's improved about your guidance? Have you gotten more guidance? What's happened on that front?
Again, this is part of your willingness and your beliefs. I have gotten to the points where I can listen to my guidance. It's not like a voice, it's more of a knowing, but I've gotten major clarity on that. And also, I've gotten to the points where if you ever heard of automatic writing, where you can write a question and the answer just flows, or journaling or something like that. A lot of people can do that and they don't even know it.
Right.
And it's just your willingness. And another big part of this, how deep you want to go, is your curiosity. And so I've done tons of work because I'm very curious about the universe and how all that ranks and moves and stuff. And so I've done tons of work on myself with my own guidance. And it doesn't take long. You don't really have to set aside time to do it, honestly. I mean, I'll do a session in the shower.
So really,
I mean, you get to the points where, number one, if a red flag comes up, my stomach's hurting. That's my red flag. I'll know immediately, and I can just ask, well, what do I have going on? And I can get my word. I mean, the chart is a tool. All the answers to your freedom and joy and happiness are within you. And so as long as you're willing to dig and get to those, because they're there already, you just acknowledge it and you're able to let things go.
Beautiful. Okay, well, thank you very much, Natalie.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.